Okay, so this is a summary of the past two children's theatre lessons. So in these lessons we focused on props, costume, sound effects, and then the devising. So props wise, what we did was we created cardboard keys of different sizes for the children to find in the play, and we decided to paint these gold. We thought that this would give an extra something magical to the performance. The keys were different. They were gold. They're shiny and sparkly. Something really enticing for the kids to want to find during the play. Also made little badges for me and Jenna as part of our costume, which say the Story Stealer Patrol. And we have decided that for our costume we are wearing yellow t-shirts with staff written on the back, and these badges actually cover another logo, but they show that we have a job in this whole storyland. So we help protect people from the story stealer, who is the villain in our piece, and so yeah, and it gives it just a bit more of a realistic feel, like we're there for a reason. I feel like it's really, really good that we've got the props down, or at least we know exactly what we're going to do, and we've just got to finish the task. This is good because we know exactly what they look like, we know what we're going to envision. Also, the sooner we get them done, the better it is for us during rehearsal. It makes it easier, and you know, it makes it just a hell of a lot better to be able to rehearse with these props. And I feel like once we have the props and the set all sorted and we can rehearse with it, we'll get really into the character and really get into entertaining the children. So, on to costume. So we had a lot of deliberation. We were in and out of the costume cupboard, not really sure on what we wanted to wear. We knew that we wanted to go for bright colours, nice and bright, nice and fun, but we weren't too sure what. We then decided that me and Jenna needed the same costume. This is to show that we're both sort of the leaders of the group taking the children through, because that's our job. We take them through Storyland, whereas Harry and Fran are two other characters which are also big parts of the play, but we guide them through. We want to establish a really good connection with the kids to make sure that they're having a really fun and engaging time. So we decided that, and then we picked a yellow t-shirt, we picked a fun pink trousers with this badge, and we got green and black tights, but we made them into hand arm warmers. So we are completely head to toe covered in colour, which I think is amazing. It's something that the kids, they don't walk around and see in everyday life and see normal people wearing bright, ridiculous colours. So I feel like it's going to really help them get into the characters and really invest themselves in the idea of these monsters, and also feel like they have been transported into somewhere completely different that they've never been before, and that's exactly what we want to do with this piece. So we knew that we wanted colours, so we did that. We got bright colour costumes, and then we also developed Fran's costume, which does still have some colour in it, but it's got slightly darker elements, so like a big black coat to really like show that she's evil. We're going to go for a top hat, black sunglasses. She's gonna have wings, colourful wings, so that there still is some colour there. And we wanted to do this because we wanted to make a big contrast between the happy, fun two monsters that are leading the whole performance and the bad guy. There needs to be a clear distinction between those two. Furthermore, to continue that distinction, we wanted to have a sound effect for the Story Stealer. It took us a while to find it, but it's linked below, and it's sort of that typical like evil like dun 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 noise, and it's gonna add an element of comedy. It's gonna add great contrast and atmosphere as soon as she walks in, which is great. And it's just gonna or to be repetitive. So as soon as the kids hear that noise, they know that Fran's character, the story stealer, has entered the play, and they know what this is about, and it just makes it a hell of a lot easier for them to engage with the story and focus on the story and what's happening and what's going to go on next, which is really good. Also for sound effects, we decided to have a twinkling of a wand, also link below. For Harry, this is just to play on the whole, he's a magical wizard. So much like Fran, to help the kids distinguish different characters, because it can be hard, especially in the performance, because there's so many different elements, there's so many different stories, to really have that sound effect linking to a character is going to really help them engage with the story, understand what this is, and not get bogged down in, oh, they don't understand the storyline, and because that's going to make them not engage as well if they do understand it. So they're going to have a great time, hopefully with making the story a lot easier to understand for them. I think also, because going along, backtracking again with the whole noise for the story stealer, we want to have a light change going along with the sound effect. So we want to have perhaps a red wash go on when Fran walks in as a story stealer, or sort of crawls in, whatever she's doing. That's also going to add, it's going to change the mood and the atmosphere straight away. The kids are going to realise, oh my goodness, it's this horrible villain and we've got to defeat him, and then it's all going to be good again. So it just really does help with linking the character with the story, and also making a really good mood and atmosphere for the kids. We also finished off devising the whole piece, so it's now completely finished. We just want to polish it now. So we had everything up to the second key devised. So this lesson today, we devised finding the last scene, the last key even, and we decided on doing a grandma's footsteps sort of thing. So me and Jenna will take the children to the back of the room, we turn around, and there is Fran with the key on her back. We then play a grandma's footsteps sort of thing, where we walk towards, every time Fran looks around we got to freeze, because obviously we're playing on the fact that every time, if you're still, the story stealer can't see you, which is a really good way to get the kids to be nice and still for a moment of like calm, which is really effective. Obviously because children are overexcitable, and we don't want it to be manic all the time and no one really engaging in the story, just getting all excited. So by doing that, we've got something fun to find the last key. It's different from any other bit in our performance or any other group performances. It relates to the story because obviously it's still about the keys, and also it's a really good way to get some energy and then stop and then do the same again. So once we found the last key, we decided to have the box unlocked and have a laser show. This laser show is going to be the complete ending to our little story. It's going to be a wow factor, it's going to blow the kids' minds, they're going to be really excited, and that's going to get them really excited for either the next story or depends on where we are in the overall piece, either the next story or the ending of the whole piece. And then hopefully it's going to really make them wondrous, and I don't know if that's a word, really amazed, and that's what we really want, that wow factor, which is also going to help them remember our piece and the whole piece in general. It's just going to make them really stick out in their minds, which is what we really want. By finishing it and by creating the whole piece, we've done it in good time, so that means that we have time now to use the sound effects and the lights with the devised piece, figure out when they're coming in, does it work, do we need to change it, and all of that sort of stuff. So we also can have full run-throughs with costume, because obviously we've sorted that now, and any bits of set that we have. We still do need to work on the boxes and what's going where, but we are going to plan to do that in a couple of lessons' time. But yeah, it's really helpful that we finished devising it now. We just really need to get it polished. I think next time we need to look at two things. One being the set, which I already mentioned. We don't have any bits of set made yet. We've focused on the props first, which I think is fine, but we do need to complete the set. So that's making the story boxes and the sensory boxes, because we really want it to be super duper sensory, just to really like engage the children. Also, if they are feeling agitated or have got special needs, because we do want to incorporate special needs in, they can just have some time out, look at some sensory boxes, play around with a few things. They don't always have to be engaged. We would love them to be, because that's the whole aim of this, that we really want to engage the children, want to make them focus on the story, but not every child gets engaged that way. Some like to do their own thing, and that's fine, and that's why we really need these sensory boxes. And the second thing I want to get done in the next lesson is the transitions. So obviously we have the structure of finding the 3 keys, and that's a really good structure. We've got the beginning, the 3 keys, and then the ending. It's just those little bits in between finding the 3 keys that just need polishing up a little bit. We don't want it to be awkward. We don't want there to be like, oh, what should we do now then? We found all keys. I don't understand what to do now, because that's just boring. So we need to maybe create an activity, maybe semi-script, know what we're talking about in between those bits. So that's what we need to do for next lesson. I've had another thought about the umbrella idea. So how are we going to link the 3 stories together? So my idea is that the whole land is Storyland, and we have all of the boxes from all of the productions in the set. So maybe in each corner, so that's easier when we're doing the play. But we have an overarching story with all of us as cast as completely different monsters in completely different costumes, just to differentiate from the individual stories, try not to confuse the children. And they go into 3 different stories. So these story boxes, they're going to look into the story boxes, so we could have big boxes big enough to fit a person through, which they actually can physically go into, and they're transported into the world of the story. That's just an idea, but I think it could work really well, and it's an easy way to umbrella the 3 stories without changing them too much, and without linking them, dialogue wise. Like, there doesn't have to be a link, because they're all their own individual stories. So also I thought we could have a really nice moment where people escape from the story. So the bad people, so the story stealer, Gary from Maddie's group, and there's not one in the other group, but I feel like I have written this, but I feel like they need one just to create contrast between their characters. They maybe escape, and as a group we try and defeat them, maybe using the keys from our story, the way that they defeat Gary in the other story, combine them all together to defeat the 3 bad guys once for all, or make them good again, or send them back into their individual stories. But that's my idea. We'd have to work out the logistics of it, but I feel like that could be a really easy way to link them, and also be really exciting.